I grew up in Hollywood.
Yeah, she's my beauty.
Yeah.
Whole life I've known about this pier, and I've come here since I was a child.
Wow. And what do you see the future of the pier?
Oh, I think the pier is going to be fabulous, and we're going to raise a lot of money, I hope, and just keep building a wonderful pier.
And do you have a special memory from the pier?
You know, I loved the pier concerts so much. I came here every single one of them, practically. So
Maybe they'll come back.
I'm hoping.
Well, congratulations on your award.
Thank you.
Honored to be here with you. I got the Ohana Award, the Aloha Award. I don't know what I did, but you look good, have you been?
Thank you. Oh, been fun.
Come on, can we get our picture taken together?
I have my photographer right here.
So the pier looks like it belongs to the city, and the city runs it, but the city does not. It doesn't have enough money to operate, and so we're going to start a Friends of the Pier, and we're going to raise money.
I have lots of special memories of the pier, but one of my favorite ones is a friend of mine who's also a city employee here. He got married last year. He asked me to officiate his wedding. We actually did it here on the pier over there in the corner. It was beautiful. Our friends came out. The people that were standing by that were not related to the wedding afterwards, they all clapped as we walked down, and so it's a very special place because there's so many people, there's so many things to do, and it's just a beautiful spot.
It is. And you?
My kids love it here. They always want to come here every weekend. It's like, let's go to the pier and get our wristband and play at the pier. So we love it.
We just got this. Yeah, take on the very ends. Yeah, there's like a jacket. I'm geography. So all of our field team is geography here.
I've been coming here since I was a little child. My grandfather used to come here almost every day and go fishing. And so I would stand here while he fished, and then or we would go just north of the pier, and my grandmother and grandfather would sit down and I could play around in the sand on the pier. So I've been coming here really almost since I was born. And this has always been a special place in Santa Monica.
And what about the future of the pier?
The future? The future is bright. I think, look at the pier, like everything in our town, will continue to evolve. And as long as the evolution is in line with the over 100-year history of this pier, I think that's fine. Some things shouldn't change. The hippodrome, where the merry-go-round is, that has to stay the same. The fact that at the end of the pier you can still go fishing. And it is one of the last free places that you can walk in Southern California and see the beach. And I just saw all these people teaming off the light rail, thrilled about coming here to the pier. That's a wonderful thing. You know, back when I was at Samohi, one of my good friends, Peter, used to ditch school, say, "Come on, Phil, we have to go on a fishing boat." And we catch the half-day boat right here at the end of the pier. The boat would go up by Gladstone's, where Gladstone's is now, and right there are hot springs in the ocean right there, bubbling, and the fish would all congregate around there. So you were guaranteed to come back with cod, with barracuda, with fish teeming easily every day. So every once in a while, don't tell my teachers, but I would ditch, or don't tell my mother, I would ditch and we'd take the boat offshore. And it would be great to have those fishing boats back here in Santa Monica.
Hello, I'm Kathy, and also known as Gidget. So I do have a memory of the pier, and it was on a Thanksgiving day when I came down to the pier with my 2 sons, and we walked on the pier, and we kept saying, I wish we could have Thanksgiving dinner early, but Grandma wants to do it at 7 o'clock at night. So my sons and I would walk up and down the pier and just enjoy the scenery and feel good about that Thanksgiving was later on. We would look forward to Thanksgiving, but I remember that very well, coming here on a Thanksgiving day with my 2 sons. And I love it, you know, ever since. And of course, it's so beautiful here. And now that my house is burned down in the Palisades, I'm living in Santa Monica. So I'm much closer to the pier than I was. I'm happy to be here, grounded on the pier.
So, for years, I've been coming to the pier. I'm recently on the pier board. And many years ago, I would skate down the pier, high speed, backwards, and then I'd grab somebody's car bumper and they'd take me up to the top of the pier. And every afternoon, right at sunset, there'd be some crazy guy out there at the end of the pier, and he would watch the sun go down and he'd yell out, "Goodbye, we love you, see you tomorrow." And it was great. And they had a compass at the end of the pier, and they had people performing, juggling, or whatever. And it was just a great time. And then I had my son, and we used to come here and go backstage for the concerts when we used to have Twilight Dancers. And those were great times. And I hope at some point in the future we could duplicate those times, but, you know, different generations. But my experience has been extreme. And all over my home, I have pictures of the pier from all the different artists. And I love being here.
Hi, we're a PIERfect Benefit, which is an event put on by my organization, the Santa Monica Pier Corporation, as our first ever fundraising event. For years, people have thought that we are a part of the city, a branch of the city, and that's simply not true. We have always been a 501c3 nonprofit organization that curates the pier visitor experience for locals, visitors, and admirers alike. And we actually have to go out and find money to put on all the free events that people enjoy here. And this is our first ever fundraiser where we're inviting the community to help out with that effort. Because times are hard, we all know, but everybody loves our events and we really appreciate people's help.
Coming here growing up, I used to have my birthday parties with my sister and right here at the carousel, and we'd go have pizza and ride the carousel and have ice cream, and just so many good memories coming down here with friends, with family. And what do you love?
Yeah, and now it's fun to walk down here with our dog, and we walk along the pier, and it's fun to hear all the different languages spoken, from all the different tourists from across the world. And when family comes to visit from the East Coast, this is definitely one of the must-see spots.
𝗕𝗲𝗄𝗧, Chief of Police for the City of Santa Monica, and today we are here, the entire community, celebrating the wonderfulness, the amazing history of the Santa Monica Pier. I remember all the times that we came here with our kids, my wife, an amazing time, and something that for us at the police department is something we're always going to be mindful of and taking care of folks here on the pier. Come on down.
Pier's the most iconic location in Santa Monica. It's a landmark. I love going to the Twilight concert dance series. I hope they could renew them again in the future in some way. My gosh, the Ferris wheel, it's the only solar-powered Ferris wheel in America. What's not to love about the pier? It's free to everyone from all over the world. And I'm really glad that the wonderful former mayor, Judy Abdo, was honored today. She fully deserves it.
So I used to be mayor here in Santa Monica, but before I was in local politics, I was the first sales rep for rollerblades in California. I went to high school with the inventor, and in the early 80s when I was out here as the sales rep, we used to come down the pier and we would tuck like skiers and go down super fast down the slope, and me and then like the local kids who were great on blades. So for me, the pier was also about being wild, about, it's sunny and gorgeous and having fun. Now, obviously, the other piece to it is it's a non-commercial public space for people from every walk of life, and that's what's just so beautiful.
To all today, we'll be celebrating Judy Abdo, as well as Larry Barber.
All right, well, that was a very nice introduction. How's everybody feeling? This is really beautiful. It's a great view for me and also for you as well. You're seeing the sun over here. Well, good evening. It is really an honor to be here tonight celebrating the PIERfect Benefit, I love that name, on our iconic Santa Monica Pier. So, as someone who was born and raised just up the street on 4th and Ashland, where Station 26 in this place has been more than just a landmark, it's been part of the fabric of my life. From roller skating or skateboarding down the hill to jump in the water at Station 26. My husband's here and it wasn't him, but maybe there was a first kiss or so at Station 26, I don't know. But definitely he and I enjoyed many sunsets and lots of romantic walks down on the pier. This place means a lot to me. Some of my earliest memories on the pier are riding the original Ferris wheel as a kid, grabbing ice cream with my mom when we were allowed to have off-serve, or playing hours of arcade games in the arcade. Later as a young adult, some of you may remember this, I got to enjoy the boathouse. Does everybody remember that? Those are the days, hey, that was when we used to party back in the day over here. It's very different now, it's probably gone. Whether it's dinners at Rusty's or amazing seafood at the Albright, the pier has always been a part of our daily rhythm. It never mattered that I grew up in a small apartment building on 4th and Ashland because our backyard was the beach, the pier, and this ocean. That's what makes the pier so special. It belongs to everyone. People come from all over the world to walk out over the water, to fish, or sit on a bench and watch the sunset or the sunrise, to enjoy a car show or a concert. And for locals, like me and many of you, it's also where we come to be reminded how lucky we are to call this place home. And here's the thing, wherever you go in the world, Santa Monica, because of this pier, whether you're in Japan or South America or all over Europe, whenever I say I'm from Santa Monica, people go, oh, the Santa Monica Pier. So it is definitely iconic and it has reached all over the world, the globe. People know where we are. The power of this place is that it's not just ours, it's shared with the whole world. And now as mayor, I see the pier not only through my own memories, but through the eyes of my daughters. They get to play sand soccer after school. My daughter surfs for PE. Let's just take a moment and let me repeat that. She is surfing for PE, that's pretty cool. And they get to grow up with the same ocean as their playground. My husband and I walk down here multiple times a week to visit Fred and the team in the harbor office. And every time I'm down here, I learn something new. Whether it's a story from an old restaurant owner or a great pier play put on by our very own Jim Harris, this place continues to amaze me. Tonight isn't just about celebrating the pier's past, it's about preserving its future. The pier is our city's heart, its history, its culture, and its community, all of you standing here. It will continue to be a magical place for the next generation to make their own memories. And I'll close with some line that still annoys my kids. But my friends and I used to say it every year walking down. The last day of school, if your kids go to Santa Monica Malibu Unified, you know that on the last day, everybody ends up on the stretch of the beach between station 24 and 28. And one thing I always say to them is I say, look out this way, kids. People travel from all over the world to see this view, and you get to see it whenever you want. So with that, thank you for being here tonight. Enjoy the view. Thank you for helping us keep the spirit of the pier alive in Santa Monica. And thank you, Jim, and to everybody who put this event on into the Pier Corporation. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Olivia. And thank you all for being here. This is an event that I have wanted to do for 15 years. As a deputy director, I kept telling our executive directors, let's have a fundraiser. We're a 501c3. And nobody wanted to do it. So I had to become executive director, and here we are doing it. So thank you all for being here and for supporting me. This is a great, great turnout, and I could not be more pleased. Thanks also to my board of directors, many of whom are here. To my staff, my very hard-working staff, many of whom are here. To Home Run Entertainment for making this a reality and putting together something really special. And to all of our sponsors. You know, we have a beautiful Saturday afternoon. You guys could have gone anywhere. These people put together something that I hope you will remember forever and will be with us again next year. This is going to be an annual event. Our organization was founded in 1983 as a 501c3 nonprofit organization called the Santa Monica Pier Restoration Corporation to oversee the restoration, revitalization, and reconstruction of the Santa Monica Pier that had been torn down by storms in 1983. Years later, we dropped restoration. The pier's been restored, and our organization has changed mission a little bit. We now curate the pier visitor experience for locals, visitors, and admirers. Even people who can't come to the pier, we are trying to make them part of our community. Our curation includes mostly the production of free open to the public events, and that is locals nights. That is the Save the Pier play coming out in October. 𝗕𝗲𝗄𝗳𝗄𝗳𝗏, the most beautiful 2 days you'll see on the pier. Holiday cheer on the pier. Fabulous fables for Samo Pride. The Pier 360 Beach Festival. And our 26-week run of Wellness and Waves, run, yoga, and Pilates. That's a great slate, right? We're going to add to that this year with something very special, which should remind people that we are a nonprofit, a 501c3 nonprofit. We're calling it Youth Day, and we're busing in 200 children from underserved communities to enjoy a free day on the pier. This is something that we're going to grow into multiple occasions throughout the year. Up to maybe 4 a year is my target. Also this year, and I'm happy to announce tonight, we are creating a fundraising arm of our organization called the Friends of the Santa Monica Pier, with its own fundraising board and a membership program so that people can contribute to specific projects that are so needed at the pier that the city can't fund, our organization alone can't fund, unless we have a really strong fundraising arm. So the Friends of the Santa Monica Pier, keep an eye out for that because it's coming soon. You'll be reading a lot about it. Also, we do walk and talk through pier history. Walking is a tour program, right? And the last Thursday of every month, I do presentations inside the merry-go-round, sharing the pier's history for free. Tell your friends about that. That's exciting. And you may have seen when you walked in some brochures called the 3-Year Vision. We have an official 3-year vision plan for the Santa Monica Pier Corporation right now, and within that booklet you can learn about everything that we're doing and everything that we plan to do. And before I bring up the chair of our board, I want to take just a moment to recognize a few people that we've lost in recent years. One was Chris Velasky, the owner of the Open Rock Shop. I would have loved for her to be here. She was also president of the Santa Monica Pier Association for many years. Steve Heineman, Lieutenant Steve Heineman, who was in charge of the Harbor Patrol for many years. And Bob Morris. You probably know Bob Morris from Gladstones and Paradise Cove. but he once owned the Fish and Chips restaurant here on the pier, which was famous for its homemade potato chips. As you leave tonight, you're going to be given a bag of potato chips, and it says, "In memory of Bob Morris." Now you know why. And with that, I would like to introduce to you all the chair of our board, 𝗕𝗲𝗰𝗁.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Jim. I want to do just a little more remarks and a little more shout-outs, and then we'll get to the main event, which is awarding our tremendous awardees. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We're here to support the Santa Monica Pier as a place where we can all come together to celebrate our beautiful coast, our iconic beach, our community and our history, and a whole century, over a century, of finding joy with each other on this wooden platform that stretches 1,651.5 feet over the sea. I've had the privilege of serving on the board of the Santa Monica Pier Corporation for 8 years, and in that time, I've been able to serve as chair, and I support the staff in doing what they do and being partners with everyone who makes this experience possible. Making the pier what it is a shared labor of love. It is a partnership between the city of Santa Monica, which owns the physical pier, and the businesses and the workers who deliver the experience we all have coming to all the different places on the pier, and the Santa Monica Pier Corporation, the organization we're here to support today. We are a tax-exempt 501c3 not-for-profit that was created, as Jim mentioned, by the city of Santa Monica to bring the pier back and now to help it thrive. We fundraise to support our public programming, and since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, that financial picture has changed considerably. The first time I was appointed chair was actually February 20th of 2020. And imagine the scenario where we're completely focused as an organization on delivering public events, and we generate revenue by hosting private events and rentals. And all of that went away in a matter of weeks. And I think that's when the wheels started turning for why we needed, to create a robust fundraising arm for the Pier Corporation. Since then, we are thankful to have rebounded as a gathering place. We are doing more events than ever, but at the same time, we've seen our public subsidies shrink. And so tonight, we are gathering to thank you all, to thank everyone here who has stepped up to support the pier with your time, with your donations and your friendship and partnership, and ask that everyone here, please give what you can, knowing that what you donate goes directly into the programming and activations that Jim mentioned, the public experiences that everyone gets to have that are free and accessible to everyone for all time.
So one of the reasons I've been looking forward to the opportunity to doing a fundraiser like this is the opportunity to resurrect the Santa Monica Pier Award. The first honoree tonight worked for Joan Crown at that little greasy spoon called Al's Kitchen. He was a UCLA film student who took a job on the pier as a cook, and in an establishment that had a very interesting clientele and workforce. As our honoree, Larry Barber, has told me it was like you needed a master's degree just to work there. Larry was an very eloquent speaker and a leader, and he was chosen to be the chair of what was called the Friends of the Santa Monica Pier to fight City Hall against their scheduled demolition of the Santa Monica Pier, and to lead the grassroots community fight to save this pier that we are here on today. And it wasn't an easy fight, but Larry was there to lead the charge, and they won. Larry is, yes, we put together a play called Save the Pier every October at the end of the pier for free. This year it's October 16th through 19th. Larry was instrumental in making sure that I got the story told right. And he's there for every performance to make sure that we perform it right. Larry, we have this award for you. When I had to choose who we were going to honor, my two choices were very easy. You were first.
Thanks, Jim. Good afternoon. I feel like I'm in a little bit of a time warp here for something that happened 52 years ago. So I'm getting my mind wrapped around that again. Well, I think it's important to note the the key players in that particular drama that was unfolding at that time. And of course, Jim has mentioned one of them, Joan Crown, the owner of Al's Kitchen. As he said, that she mortgaged her house. The other people, of course, I won't name them all, but Maynard and Sheila Ostro. Ernie Powell. No, Ernie Powell came actually later in that particular time, but he wishes that he were a part of that so very much because he's involved in just so many of the fights that take place. But yes, there were a lot of other stalwart people here, like Julie Stone, who's sitting in the front here, Pat Lennon, who is not able to be here now. Technically, I don't think Stephen Randall was a part of Santa Monica, the Friends of Santa Monica Pier, but he was the editor of the Santa Monica Independent, that comprehensive paper that came out, I believe it was weekly. And we had a daily paper at the time that was delivered hard copy, the Santa Monica Evening Outlook. But the particular person I would want to highlight, of course, is the manager of Al's Kitchen, our restaurant. Was a guy named Jack Sicking. Jack Sicking was, thank you, was kind of a cross between James Carville and Carl Rowe, I think. Always thinking 2, 3, and 4 steps ahead of the rest of us. And anyway, he said, we're going to form something called Friends of Santa Monica Pier. You're going to be the chair or the coordinator or whatever it was. That was the organization, I think, as we see fit. But the amazing thing that he turned our menu of Al's Kitchen into the Al's Kitchen Gazette. So every time people ordered a meal, they would get some political information. They would deliver right along with your choices of the clams and the fish and the hamburgers and all the rest of it. But anyway, because our customers loved the pier, and that's what we knew. And so somehow we were able to start a flyer and letter writing campaign and raise the voices of the community into something that, I don't know what you would call it, maybe something like a choir of persuasion somehow. It was able to work their will and wonder upon the Santa Monica City Council who had voted to demolish the pier. But people really loved the pier, and we could see that. And so we somehow managed to get everybody involved and on the same page. But Jack Sicking was a pretty amazing guy. He had an incredible, almost uncanny ability to relate individually to every single person, and then he was able to speak or allow us, the community voices, to speak as one to the Santa Monica City Council. And I think that was somehow a particular genius that he possessed, and that was able eventually to do the things that allowed the pier to be saved. And that's what Jim has memorialized in the play that is produced every year. Is it 6 years or coming up on the 7th? I forget exactly, but it's an amazing thing. I'm accepting on behalf of all the people who are members of that organization of the Friends of Santa Monica Pier, and it sounds like you're taking that name, so it's become, once again, it's flowering anew, Jim. Thank you very much, and I appreciate this.
Judy Abdo. One of our most dedicated public servants who has enjoyed many titles, including Mayor of Santa Monica, Council Member, and founding member of the Santa Monica Pier Restoration Corporation. In 1983, when that fierce winter storm destroyed the west end of the pier, Judy stepped up to lead the effort to rebuild. For Judy, a core value was that the pier must always be and remain a public space, free to everyone to enjoy and to stroll. Judy's work on the Restoration Corporation and the City Council was instrumental in ensuring that no one would ever have to pay a ticket to step onto the wooden planks and stroll down to the end. Judy was a key force in bringing concerts to the pier, and you could be sure to find her every summer Thursday evening enjoying the music. After the pier was restored, Judy once again served on our successor, Santa Monica Pier Corporation board from 2012 to 2017. And for her many decades of service, please join me in congratulating Judy. Judy,
Came here probably when I was 10 years old. My parents brought me here, and I have never forgotten that experience. And of course, I've been here a gazillion times since. I spent a lot of years in my junior high and high school years here, coming once a week from Hollywood to here at here. And he's already told you all the things, Carter has told you all the things that I did, but I do want to say how important the pier has been to me all of my life since I was probably 10. And that I want all of you to feel as connected to the pier as I do. So even if you're here for the very first time, which you do, I see lots of people who have been here many, many years, but even if this is your very first time, do not forget the feeling of being at the pier with a whole group of people who love you. So I think it's just really important that we're all here together, and that anything that we can do to help. And I don't know if somebody's going to do a pitch. Is that going to happen tonight? For more money. Yeah. So let's all kind of be ready to give a little bit extra money to the pier, because we really need it here to keep this pier as it is and even better. So thank you.
From the government, I bring proclamations. Here we are, yes. So, very good evening, everybody. I wanted to be here as part of this wonderful celebration as a native Santa Monican, someone who grew up here, who loves this wonderful place. I love our history, I love the heritage of this town. And actually, being from Los Angeles, some of you know my dad is a Brit, and we would go to the UK and visit family there, and I was always so steeped in all the history of the UK, and I'd come back to LA and everything feels so new, but it turns out there's so much history here. And there are beautiful places like this that speak to a bygone era that people want to come from all over the world to experience. And you'll notice, of course, it's always the place that they pan out from whenever we're hosting a major sporting event or even the Oscars. The people, they always want to show the pier, because this is an iconic place, this is a timeless place, this is a place that people associate with our town, and in fact the entire Southern California region. In fact, one of my favorite things to do on New Year's Eve is to walk the pier and see all these wide-eyed Southern and Midwestern fans wearing their football gear for the Rose Bowl, wandering around the pier and soaking it in, and reflecting on our decent weather when they're all coming from snowbound tundra. And so this is a special place. But we all know that places like this they don't come from nowhere. And we all know, in fact, that so many iconic places, such as other piers along our coast, are long gone. There were many piers up and down this coastline. It takes people fighting for places like this. We all know when I was a very little boy, there was that terrible storm. And I remember how devastated people were when the storm happened. It would have been easy to either cut the pier short or to walk away from the pier, dismantle it, say, hey, we just can't afford it. Or turn it over to pure commercial interests, right? Make it a playground for the rich. And the folks that we're honoring tonight stepped up at that critical moment and said, no, this is a special place that belongs to the people. And here we are, decades later, enjoying this special place with thousands of our friends from all over the world. who've come from everywhere to experience this place. And none of them know it, but they are walking right now in deep gratitude to the folks that we're honoring here today. So Larry and Judy, you have both given so much to this wonderful place. You have devoted yourselves. Jim, of course, you know, who I always come to say hi to when I'm here, who's also a children's book author about the wonderful offshore. Do you guys know we have our own sea monster here? Did you guys know? So, you know, take that, Loch Ness. We got our own, and in fact, Jim's written a children's book about it that I've read many times to my kids, so I'm trying to instill some Santa Monica patriotism. And everybody else involved with helping make this place run. So thank you for being a part of this. Thank you. I know it wasn't a cheap event, but you know, your support, the money that you're giving to keep this place running is a real gift to the future. It's a gift to the next generation of young people. It's a gift to Santa Monica. And I just want to thank and praise Judy and Larry and thank them for their decades and decades of selfless service to our town and to this wonderful institution.
Carter, and of course our honorees, Larry Barber and Judy Abdo.